stunning game, too.
It was a very chaotic game. And I think a lot of the analysis I heard just kind of by proxy was that Liquid sort of had that game and, in some ways handed it to EG. Maybe a game that Liquid should have won by some accounts.
Capitalized on
their mistakes?
On their mistakes.
Yes, exactly.
In an excellent way. They weren't big mistakes. They were very small ones. But
very true. Very true.
A lot of those fights, I remember the Morphling from Arteezy, obviously played it so smart with those static links and everything, but eventually they kind of figured that out, and then they had to kind of develop a different way. They started focusing down Miracle more on the PL, so it certainly wasn't an easy victory for EG, but they got it done, and that's why Liquid are here. So sorry, Complexity. I know Kyle was very upset at Slacks when he pulled that team out of the little bowl. Can't really blame him.
Yeah. No doubt. So we've got a featured matchup here, Trent, and I'm excited to cast this game with you because you know Complexity better than most. I know you have a history working with that team, doing some stats and whatnot. Talk to us about GH versus Z-Freak, another 4 matchup.
I mean, this is Z-Freak. I mean, he's the guy.
The guy.
He's the one who has been carrying this team and who always gets all the love. And he plays exceptionally well. I mean, he plays a lot of very good, high-skill heroes. He can play that Chen.
Very versatile player is what I think of when it comes to Z-Freak. But GH, absolutely no slouch in this role.
Yep. He was kind of the star at TI in terms of, he was that guy who made it so hard to draft against them. He was like the AoE techies, right?
Yeah.
The same situation here once more with the Keeper of the Light and the Earthshaker that he was playing then. And now you're dealing with the Elder Titan, of course.
Yeah, it seems like the GH Coddle is one that has gone down in the Dota history books as just an epic player-hero combination.
Yeah, we'll be very surprised if we see that in a best of 1.
I would say almost 100% the Coddle gets banned out in this game.
I wore this today specifically for this matchup, the little IO pin. I was thinking of this, right?
Well, hey, we did see a Wisp pick already today.
Yeah, and these are 2 big IO teams. You got Complexity and you got Liquid. So GH, will he get it? Will Z-Freak get it? We'll find out soon. We're actually already into the draft, too.
Yeah.
So we're getting there.
Yeah, ready to hop in and see what these teams are working on as the initial bans are coming out. It has been quick getting into these games, Trent, and I am a huge fan. They are ready.
I've never seen a tournament like this, let alone been to one. This is crazy because the players are just there in their little booths. You can see them right there, Kuro.
Yep.
Focused in there.
It's like the 2-stage setup. So when one team finishes, the next round is already ready to go, and they're just waiting for us casters to be ready.
How dare we?
How dare we? But look at this, Trent. After all that talk about Keeper of the Light, he has made it through, and Liquid do have the luxury of first pick.
So is my precious IO. I was ready. I knew it was coming.
So what do we have banned out here? It's Elder Titan, Chen, and Bounty Hunter taken out by Complexity. So a lot of big roamers. We've talked a lot about Elder Titan. And there it is, my friend. The first pick Wisp. You dressed appropriately.
I knew it. I'm in the zone. I knew there was a clockwork today, too. I am here. I'm ready to go. So's Tiny. He's left in the pool. What a hero. He can go anywhere. Yep. Oh, my goodness. Speaking of going anywhere, it's Gyrocopter. He can fly.
Yeah, Tiny Gyrocopter. I think Complexity will be pretty happy with that opener right there.
Yep. They were someone who definitely benefited from all of the changes to Tiny, as Limp is a god on that hero, so he's just been able to play it in numerous ways. But he also plays a lot of the Gyro games, too. So this could be a Z-Freak Tiny as well. This could be a Moo Tiny. Who knows?
The real question for me is what do they want to pair this Wisp with? And, well, it's a second pick Terrorblade, so that is certainly something.
Yep. Oh, Terrorblade.
Yep, good old Terrorblade.
Didn't do too hot last game. But, I mean, if that was any other core, it would have been way worse.
I think the Terrorblade was the one that did do pretty well last game. It was everything else that felt like it fell a little bit flat.
We should have gave him MVP, honestly.
Yeah. It's just a beast of a hero, and he has that insane late-game threat with that 5-second Sunder cooldown, which still feels absolutely broken to me, if you can get to that point, but I digress. Next round of bans coming through. Disruptor banned out by Liquid. No big surprise there. One of the classic support counters to the Wisp.
Yep.
And now Viper actually banned out by Complexity. So big lane dominator. Going to make sure whoever they put in the mid lane has an okay time at least. Never fun to lane against the Stinky Viper.
Man, honestly, this just shows how much Complexity value the Tiny and the Gyrocopter. They didn't take that Disruptor. I mean, the hero is God tier versus IO +1. God tier versus Terrorblade. That hero doesn't want to buy a BKB. He's very happy if he can get away with not doing that. So a lot of those silences, he just mantas off, and he plays a little bit greedier in that sense. But Disruptor, that's a no-go. You're not manting off this guy. So the fact that they just allow him to get banned out, because I'm sure they knew that there's no way that hero's getting through the next phase, right? So, yeah, we're a lot of pressure now on the Tiny and Gyro in that sense, as they remove two Matu heroes that share pretty similar personalities. Green and disgusting.
Yes, absolutely. Viper and then the Pugna. Feels like every Pugna pick we've seen so far, whether they win or lose, that hero just has so much power. He denies farm in the laning stage with the aggressive decreps. He's super survivable despite being kind of a glass cannon in some regards with the life drain, and we can't forget about his pushing prowess, of course. And there's that Coddle. So Liquid not going to be picking it up here as they went for the Wisp, and they are going to prevent Complexity from grabbing it themselves as they know how dubious he can be.
Yeah, I like how they banned the Beastmaster first. I think that could have been a Coddle ban, but they left that open for themselves that way. But what they really didn't want was the Beastmaster plus Coddle combo that we've seen so much in NA. Definitely something Complexity would be practiced playing with, playing against. They understand a lot about the strategy. So
big-time vision game. Yeah,
they could have gone into like that double, super aggro dual lane. And that option was first denied, and now they're still saying we don't want Coddle there just because he kind of mirrors some of that relocate options that comes out from the IO +1. And this should be a Kyle hero more than likely, unless there's some sort of a different Z-Freak hero they want to pick up that they don't want stolen by Liquid.
Maybe I think Witch Doctor coming to mind. We've talked about him versus Wisp quite a bit, and even just as a standalone.
I kind of like Bane, I think.
Sure.
Same idea, right? You can Nightmare one, you can Fiend's Grip the other.
But they take the Tusk.
So that opens up the greedier hero for Z-Freak, likely. I would guess this will probably be a Kyle position 5 kind of Tusk style, where he's a little bit poorer, and then the Rubik is the default hero we tend to think of, and Liquid maybe, as he said, a bit of a deny pick perhaps, but he's so good against Tiny. And as well as he's decent against Tusk, because if he snowballs in, you got to be careful. You know, if you're in that early laning phase where you often see that snowball initiation, if you two pop out of that ball and you're not stunning the Witch Doctor, you're going to get cast.
And potentially maledicted.
Yeah.
Remember, it's an AoE, so when you're all clumped up like that, it's a rarity, but Tusk can enable that to happen for the Witch Doctor.
That's the best cosmetic gem in the game, guys. If you've got a Witch Doctor thing, there's a multi-hero maledict, that's how you know you're a real gamer. If you got that thing jacked up, you're like, damn, this guy plays some Witch Doctor. I like it.
Big fan of the coconut as well.
This is not a good Rubik game, honestly. I mean, compared to most games, this looks kind of garbage. You want that like Sand King or something on the other side, so it doesn't look that amazing for Z-Freaker. Most games, I'm so happy to see him take it. This game, it's awful.
What will Z-Freak play this game? Not much is coming to mind. Is Z-Freak a Dark Willow player by chance?
I think Enchantress is actually quite good.
Okay.
Oh, he is definitely a Dark Willow player. Yo, let's go. That's actually the hero. You're in.
Yeah.
You did it.
I think it could be a Dark
You're
Willow
a legend.
Game. She does a stupid amount of damage. The
Magical damage, dude.
Yeah.
Against Terrorblade.
Exactly.
Low HP. Andrew, you're right.
It cracked the code.
This is it.
The question is, have they practiced with Dark Willow enough to pick
he knows.
In,
He's a fiend.
in a major best of one?
Come on. The hero's broken. Look, think about all the benefits in this game. Long range terrorize or something for one of these annoying heroes like Witch Doctor.
I suggested it. I'm in. I'm totally in on it. But they will grab the puck. So there could still maybe be a Willow pick coming. But Fairy Dragon will be their third core. I think this is likely your Moo hero.
I'm going to be so sad if this is not last pick Dark Willow. Why does Kyle have to go for the drama? Why doesn't he just pick it right now?
The suspense train.
Yeah, I know.
Kyle, he's a practice showman, and he's just building the suspense so that final pick will
He's all about the theater, dude.
All the more epic. Yeah. A practiced hand. But fourth pick for Liquid on the way. They will be looking for either their mid or their off lane. And still a lot of options available.
It always feels weird when you ban Matu heroes. Like, you kind of have to do it, but at the same time, he just kind of plays that same style in so many different heroes, it almost feels like a waste.
Yeah.
You know?
I know what you mean.
He's just going to do some stupid, annoying thing that you hate laning against.
Isn't that part of the power of Liquid?
Yes,
there just
definitely.
are not enough bans to stop this team from getting heroes that they're good at, because so many of their players have that stable style regardless of what hero they're on.
Yeah, and stable is the perfect word to kind of describe Matu too, because he's the stabilizer on this team. He's the guy that tanks all the hate in terms of from the opponents, right? Like in game, yeah, he sponges everything, and he just either enables mind control. Oh, now that dirty and green, it's a Matu hero, ladies and gentlemen.
Didn't have Viper, didn't have Pugna. What's left? It's the Venomancer.
Oh, thank God we banned those other two. Hey, to be fair, I'd way rather play against a Veno than a Pugna or a Viper. So the bans didn't end up working.
Yeah, we've seen Veno at least once in this group stage so far. Did feel a little bit flat in that particular game. I think it was Pain Gaming's first match, actually. I remember we playing a Venomancer mid. Kind of an odd hero right now. He still can do a lot. I think Midas might be in the repertoire for him to really accelerate.
Yeah.
But I do worry a little bit for Liquid right now. Light on control. You've got the Paralyzing Cask. That's good. But outside of that, you're pretty much just focused on slows from Venno and Terrorblade.
Yeah, and it definitely could be a mind control, Venno as well. He certainly has played the hero in the past. And then Matu doesn't just play totally poverty heroes. Of course, he does get out of control sometimes on like a Lone Druid, which is still left in the pool. He can play the Lycan, which is also still there, but has fallen off a little bit in recent times.
Could this be a Lone Druid game? That's a hero I've sort of forgotten about.
Yeah, it's okay. I like it. I'm always down for
Is
the
it a
hero.
little greedy with the Terrorblade?
It's a little greedy with the Terrorblade, but is there a lot of punish from complexity? They could certainly opt, like, let's say they went for that Enchantress last pick and just started snowballing into you. That could create a problem.
I do think Complexity has a lot of burst damage. Relatively squishy heroes here on Liquid. You know, Tusk, Tiny, Gyrocopter, Puck, all huge kill potential individually. And when you put them together...
Don't forget the Dark Willow.
And the Dark Willow on
she's getting
top
picked
of that.
here. I refuse.
I still think it's a great pick here. I mean, Willow versus Wisp, just kind of in a vacuum. She has the power to isolate and blow up that little ball in team fights very easily.
Maybe even like Fear him, spread them apart too.
Fear is
There's
also
some options,
quite potent against the tethered up Wisp, that's true. Liquid thinking hard about this final ban. Obviously, Complexity will need to support the Z-Freak hero, trying to figure out what Complexity have their sights set on.
I think it's got to be Ench or Dark Willow, unless there's something we're forgetting. But those would be my two bans. The Z-Freak possibilities of... There could be a Z-Freak Puck as well. I mean, we didn't mention it, but that is something we've seen.
That's very true.
It could have been a Z-Freak Tiny, and they're saying, what is like the hero that could totally screw us this game, and they just go for the super safe ban of the Brood. So
I like it. They actually have no way to control a Broodmother with this current draft, so definitely feels like a safe ban. About 30 seconds left for Liquid to make their final decision, and one more core to be picked up.
Yeah, they can pretty much do whatever. I don't think they're going to do some crazy draft strat, although that'd be kind of cool.
I just think they need somebody with a little bit of spammable lockdown. You know, just one more piece of control. And it's an Axe, so that's a great bout of AoE control.
An Axe?
But not a hero I would have thought. I don't know if we've seen him picked yet, but certainly has not been really talked about so much in this patch.
Wow, so that's probably for mind control, and it will indeed be a disgusting green hero for Matu, as per usual. He'll feel very comfortable in that Venno.
Okay.
What's good about Axe here? He is sort of an instant initiation. It's a little bit delayed, obviously, but...
He's kind of counters Tusk in that same way we were talking about Witch Doctor, right? You snowball a bunch of heroes in. If Axe can catch you while you're all grouped up.
Blade Mail's pretty good this game.
Yes, Blade Mail is actually amazing this game.
Blade Mail also owns Dark Willow. So, a little sad.
True. And it'll be a Timber Saw.
So they were on the money there in terms of the support. Probably for Z-Freak, I'm still going to guess, because it's probably going to be a Limp Puck, a Chessie Gyro, and the Moo Timber. Yeah, well, I like this. Good choice on the Timber Saw. Another classic counter to the IO +1. Good against Terrorblade with that low HP pool.
Also great against Axe.
Ooh, we'll see if this actually holds true and that it will be the Z-Freak Puck and not the Limp Puck. But I guess that makes sense, right? The Limp Tiny, we've always talked about how legendary that is. And Z-Freak's going to have to do his best crit impression here.
Limp Tiny, Chessie Gyrocopter, that means it'll be a Kyle Tusk, and Z-Freak picks up the Puck. So, interesting draft for this next best of one. Trent, who are you favoring here from a draft perspective?
A couple unique heroes, right? We're dealing with a Puck. We're dealing Puck in the support role, that is, and then we're dealing with the Axe too. So that one's definitely a little bit unusual. I kind of like the complexity draft.
Yeah, I think Timbersaw felt like a pretty darn good final pick. You know, also pretty good against Wisp.
They have some good options, though, like the Maledict, even plus the Venno actually enables all of that damage from Venno to sink into that Terrorblade a little bit faster. Or, sorry, not Terrorblade, but Timbersaw a little bit faster. You might actually be able to bring them down.
Yeah.
I don't see an overwhelming draft advantage either way. I think I'd just rather look at the game in the sense of just like, what does each team need to do? And then maybe from there we can evaluate how difficult that's going to be. Getting Z-Freak levels is going to be difficult. The bounty run change didn't make that big of a difference in terms of losing experience. It wasn't that much that you're not getting, but you know what? Honestly, every little bit does count. So when you're playing something risky like the support Puck, when we've seen it be successful from crit, one thing EG is very good at is that they have cores in the lane that can help enable the Puck through kills, kind of like over and over. And that's what kind of gets things going. Or you have someone who can fall back into the jungle, and then Puck takes the lane.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have that this game. Like Gyro, kind of, but it's not that fast, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a tinker. That's the way that I usually see them play it on EG, is that the tinker goes to the jungle, and then Puck takes up the lane in the mid, and then gets himself into a reliable place so he can actually get something done.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried about that aspect of the complexity draft.
Absolutely. It reminds me a little bit of the old days of Z-Freak has played like roaming position 4 Queen of Pain and playing that similar flavor that you're talking about, trying to set up ganks and then taking and absorbing that farm to sort of transition into more of a core feel. But I think maybe a little bit easier to do with Quaff than it is with Puck.
This is sick. They're actually cutting the trees down bottom because this is their home. They might just end up living here as the two of them. And so they want no areas for them to play around, right? They just want to camp there, absorb the wave, cut it every time if they have to. And makes it easy peasy.
Okay, so Bounty Runes.
GH gets his bottle.
2 for 2. Kyle and Limp grab the top side. Oh, an even split thus far. Looks like lanes will be pretty standard as well. Matu heads mid on the Venomancer. A 2-1-2 from Liquid with a safe lane Terrorblade. And Wisp will start alongside the Axe in the off lane. Looks like Complexity with the same idea. 2-1-2 for them. Kyle and Limp will be the off laners. And Z-Freak will start in the bottom lane to try to keep Chessie safe and secure some farm.
I like that early battle hunger, because Z-Freak's just going to try and pass through this IO over and over, right? No armor, and then he also went for the Orb of Venom, too. So sometimes you've seen them be very greedy and get, like, maybe a null or something, even on a support Puck, just so that you can be a constant harassing force. But the Orb of Venom's a little bit of a cheaper way to do it, but Mind Control's just going to say, you know what, you can't phase shift? The old battle hunger.
Yeah.
God, mid lane looks... Timbersaw versus Venom. How bland is that?
Yeah.
That's not a lot of excitement.
Kind of an odd matchup. I'm very curious to see what sort of a build Matu goes for. You know, is this going to be a ward-based Veno? Is he going to put some stock into Venomous Gale? Looks like he's got Poison Sting and Plague Ward to get things started. I'm also just curious about his item build. You know, do you think Midas is that core item on Veno to let him accelerate? Or you think we'll just see Matu go for more like a Veil or something that lets him come online early?
Pike and everything. I kind of envision this game. The Veil would be... there's not really much magical damage, honestly. Probably not Veil this game. Unless he fully specs out with like an Aghanim's and stuff.
You're probably right. The mobility tools are a bit more common on Veno. That's totally a fair point.
Probably going to need a BKB this game as well, honestly. He's going to get pretty fat. Midas might not be the worst idea, but he's creating space for a Terrorblade, so he can't be too greedy for himself. He's got to play some Matu Dota.
Well, Mu is definitely having a good start in the mid lane. Down bottom, Z-Freak continuing to be harassed, but will jump onto GH. The battle for the rune will go in favor of Z-Freak, but with that battle hunger, GH is actually going to start to chase him down. This could be a Wisp first blood drawn by GH. He says, you can have the bounty rune. I'll be happy to take that 400 bonus gold for your first blood. Yeah,
and now I just get the bottom rune instead and my other bounty runes. So definitely a very valuable play from GH, and just that experience of the IO. He says, yo, you just orbed. And, you know, you're not a core. You don't have the most damage items right now. I'm going to be able to out-damage you with this overcharge. You can't get away. You got no HP left.
Well, up top, Kuroki gets a nice cask, bounces back and forth between Kyle and Limp. He'll be on the run, and I think should be able to survive this one. Limp with a toss forward. Not much Kyle can do. Shard's still on cooldown for another few seconds.
Yeah, so. They had Orb maybe, but that kind of comes from this Puck, right? The Puck is the one who's able to get the Orb of Venom this game instead, so that means Kyle can't harass his Witch Doctor, and he can't enable his Tiny that way, so punished there by being so poor on this Tusk.
This mid lane kind of brutal for Matu right now. 18-8 on the Timbersaw compared to 6-6 on the Venomancer. 2 points in the reactive armor. Mu is just regenerating faster than those Plague Wards can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised Matu's even summoning some of them. Like, he just can't let them get right-click down. They're super free right now from Mu.
Yep. And in this bottom lane, Gyrocopter definitely feeling the pressure from Mind Control. Mind Control getting the advantage in terms of CS and really doing quite well.
My God, if he maxes out this battle hunger and never takes the call, this will be the Slacks build.
This actually is the
You
Slacks
don't want
build.
to play with that. Don't worry. Mind Control's just doing the right thing here. He's getting a couple early points in it, harassing this lane. We're not going full Slacks.
Damage over time, just so effective against Puck. It just mitigates the phase shift pretty much entirely. Reminds me of an old game from like a TI4 qualifier. Actually, last time I was in Bucharest, where Complexity played Warlock versus Puck mid and just completely dominated with the same concept, damage over time. Top lane, though, looks like we'll see 2 fights at once. Z-Freak down bottom, getting very low, and Limp will survive up top.
He couldn't get the last hit. Chessie took it.
Oh, barely 17 HP. He'll TP home, and he is going to survive. Yeah. Very close call for the Puck. Okay.
But we haven't talked about top, though, as you're saying. It's just like Miracle Easy game. Just lasting non-stop. But there's also farm being traded over on the Limp, and he is someone who can certainly rotate earlier than a TB and get stuff done, make some plays, possibly sync up with Moo when he just wants to like camp behind a tower with a hood or something like that.
There's definitely kill potential on this Tiny with the Witch Doctor and Terrorblade. Miracle did not use the Metamorphosis when Kuroki caught him with that Maledict stun. But still, the threat is there, no doubt.
And Chessie just having such a rough time. Constantly hit over and over. Only 16 last hits in a lane that's been relatively close to his tower this whole time. He just doesn't have a lot he can do. GH is going to get another stack off here. They're really building this up. Looks like they want to try and take it with mind control, but a bit risky.
Absolutely. Snowball utilized. Now GH taking some damage. Mind control trying to do what he can. The rocket barrage will be mitigated, but I don't think the Wisp survives this one. Ice shards block him in, and even though Chessie gets low, it's a successful gank from Complexity.
So they've built up this camp against the Gyrocopter. Like, they have to be at least a little bit cautious, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And with no points in the Berserker's Call, that bonus armor won't be there as well. So Mind Control can't really take it himself too early.
Down bottom, Snowball used by Kyle. Mind Control without the Berserker's Call, only able to do so much, but actually it seems like this Battle Hunger is pretty damn effective in slowing down the Tusk. GH gets credit for another one, and they strike right back.
It used to be one of those rather worthless spells, like the Dazzle Poison, where you just like try to slow people.
How dare you?
Hey, it was useless. It wasn't even skilled. People got stats instead of that thing, and now it's been buffed numerous times. And it's kind of the same thing with Battle Hunger. It was largely ignored. Z-Freak really wants to deny that rune. He won't even walk in for it.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd spell in the way that it scales. This movement speed doesn't scale at all, but the cooldown and the damage, of course, scale very nicely. The stack will get cleared out now. Mind Control getting a fair bit of farm off that as Z-Freak jaunts across into the lane. You can see Liquid now. They're like, hey, he's got no escape. Let's pressure this puck, and they might even be able to find a kill. That's it. Slam dunk as Mind Control's found his level 6. This aggro dual lane
Slacks was right.
Is incredible. I mean, Mind Control.
His call is useless. He knew all along. But
I wish Purge was here right now to give us his analysis on this build.
No,
I'm sure
it makes sense. He doesn't need it. Why do they need it? Like, what benefit does it give them? Up top, Limp combos on the Miracle, and he does still have the point for the Sunder.
He may need to use it here. Is he going to skill it up? There it is. Sunder on Kyle, very low HP. Kuro the target for the Snowball, and they might be able to turn this around the other way. They will. Can they get more, though? The combo from Tiny brings down Kuro. It's a 1-for-1. Miracle trying to finish off that pesky little frozen sigil, but struggling as Lip micros it well. He pops the Mango. He's got another toss. Do they actually have the damage? Miracle so tanky as Kuro comes back in. Z-Freak jaunts to the tower. Lip looking to pursue. He catches him just barely, but finds the double kill, and Z-Freak does live. Huge stuff for the Tiny in the top lane.
Took so much effort, though. Meanwhile, down bottom, the Gyrocopter is being run at here by Mind Control. Yeah, he's got so much movement speed from this IO. He doesn't need the Berserker's Call at all. He was able to take that stack as well because of the regen from the IO too. Like, being enabled like this makes this build look good.
Yep. Double kill for Tiny, just as quickly a double kill for Mind Control. But you're absolutely right. The slow from Battle Hunger and his additional movement speed is just too much. He will get intercepted by the Timber Saw.
He's got
getting
a
brought down
dude.
Very low, but GH again able to tether and heal him up. They sidestep the Chakram, and Moo doing everything he can, but I don't think he's going to find a kill here. Mind Control's already regen back up. He does also have infused raindrops, and he'll just head back to his tower here as Moo continues to pursue.
Yeah, but now Daddy's home. Moo wants to live down here. It's time to try and get something on poor Chessie. He's pulled the wave way back to his tier 2 tower here. And that is also a good sign for Matu, though, right? He's got this ward build that wasn't very effective against the Timber Saw. Can certainly do a little bit more to old Gyro.
Oh, man. Axe clearing out an Ancient stack now. You mentioned he has the Vanguard, and now a third of the way towards that Blink Dagger.
Where are these stacks coming from, too? Like, GH is coming over for runes, helping to get stacks set up as well.
So the scary thing about this, though, up top, Terrorblade initiated on. The combo from Limp brings him down low. He's silenced, but Sunder on cooldown for another 10. He will be able to survive for now, and a relocate up top will turn this around. No way Limp survives this one as he gets caught by the Maledict, and the rest of Liquid looking to pursue against the puck. He is able to jaunt away, and actually Limp TP's out. Liquid split their focus, and it does work out well for Complexity.
Bit greedy there on that one, but still a nice save with the TP in, and they just go right back bottom. No real pressure because it's a Timber Saw, just the creeps hitting into the tower.
I guess in a lot of ways that started as a kill attempt on Miracle, so the fact that he survives is sort of a victory for Liquid despite not being able to find the counter kills.
They're still harassing him though, but remember that Sunder is still up here, so there is some concerns.
Moo going in deep, but Mind Control is here. He's got the Battle Hunger.
GH has to be careful, though. There is still the Soul Ring on Moo, so.
And not going to be able to find it. Okay, Moo fogs him in the trees. Nicely done.
Meanwhile, Chessie's been left in this terrifying 1v1 versus Matu. He's just so low. Just constantly harassed over and over.
Action all over the place. Now back up top as Miracle gets initiated on. Combo from Tiny. Snowball from Kyle with the Sunder. He swaps it onto Limp, and now this Tiny is done for. The power of Terror Blade before our eyes. Mr. Trent packs a double kill after a perfect Sunder.
Yeah, Complexity out of sync, though. I mean, they needed Z-Freak there with the silence. There's no way they should have gone for that without him.
Down bottom, the dive onto Moo, but a TP comes in from the gyrocopter, and Chessie will repel this effort. GH now maybe in some trouble as the homing missile flies. 2 points in the rocket barrage. There are 3 points in this homing missile, so it's going to do a huge amount of damage, and they will get a kill onto GH. Mind Control now kind of left by his lonesome
nice
against
dodge.
3. He's just going to run back to the tower.
This should be a big kill, but he's got that Vanguard.
Yeah, shards block him out. Hard kill to get, but they are going to commit to call down. Now the Snowball. And Mind Control running out of options as Chakram will finish him off. So, sign of life for Complexity. Much needed kills on that axe, and it will actually put Timbersaw #1 on net worth now.
Complexity are just like drawing straws as to who is to go in this lane against this Venomancer. And no matter who it is, the tower's being pushed. They're going down to no HP. And life is awful. Here's that replay where you can see Z-Freak, he's off to the left-hand side there, but he's just not there in time. You need that silence. It has to be there.
Yes.
Or you can't go for that play. And obviously Complexity probably thought he was a little bit closer, and maybe the call was made that it's going to be fine with
Mid
back
lane.
in the game in the mid.
Veno almost going down. Wisp keeping him alive for a surprising amount of time, and there's the relocate out. GH with an incredible save as Matu lives through it. Veno is level 9. No point in the Poison Nova right now. He's all in on the Plague Wards and the Poison Sting, but he lives through the onslaught. Tiny actually almost died in that whole ordeal.
Kyle.
Double damage on Kyle, but he's just going to walk away.
Yeah, I'm very low. And there is no shrine here, so let's just greedily farm up some of these camps here.
And meanwhile, in the top lane, Miracle still just farming away, nipping at the heels of that Timbersaw for the first seat on the net worth chart, and Yasha just about to be completed. So a lot of things still looking good for Liquid, holding on to over a 3,000 net worth lead very early on.
And in terms of their my next trick, it will be Axe plus the Blink Dagger. Will then be looking to initiate, hop on top of the people. But who are his targets this game? Definitely the Puck. He can pick on quite a bit just because it's a support, so he's going to be relatively low. And then Chessie, also someone who's pretty underfarmed considering the situation. Not too bad, but he just got bullied really hard in both lanes that he had, either the Veno or the Axe plus Io.
Yep. Definitely has the right idea to recover, though. Phase boots into the Drum of Endurance, get some extra stats, and that extra movement speed to try and survive against the Axe, who's been chasing him down.
Kuro's level 7, man. He's ready to rotate too. Like, he's been soaking up this lane up top because Miracle's moved into the jungle, doing the standard stuff that Liquid does. So good at enabling other people through the lanes.
Yeah, that is one of the problems, Trent. Both supports on Liquid level 7. Tusk still not even level 6.
This might give it to him, though.
Puck now has the Dream Coil. Looks like Kuro will get brought down. It's a 3-on-1. The Axe does TP in. Limp able to secure the kill, and you were right. That's the Walrus Punch.
But Matu, of course, just now starting to zone out the Radiant, taking over their towers, moving into their jungle, going to start absorbing up this space along with Miracle, and it's only a matter of time before they close into that bottom lane, make this their own. So the counterplay from Complexity is to just be up top here, zone out everything, trying to ensure that they control this space, but look where it is. It's Mind Control on the side shop, picks up the Blink Dagger.
Uh-oh, he grabs 2 with the Berserker's Call. Now the relocate coming in. Liquid are ready for this fight. The Metamorphosis is there. Call down from Chessie. It'll do a little bit, but most will survive. A lot of low health heroes as Liquid have 5 committed to the top lane. The Taxi Service will take Terrorblade back down bottom so they can defend against the pressure from Moo, but a great relocation will finish off the Gyrocopter.
That could have been a hell of a lot worse, honestly. Like, for a Blink Dagger you didn't know existed, and a relocate play, a meta TB, and you only lose 1.
You only lost 1, but it's your position 1.
Yeah,
so
it's
in
true.
some ways it is a pretty high value target.
No, still very good. I mean, Liquid are also defending a tower. They're pushing them back. It took a lot of momentum for them to build that up. Think about all the time they were just dancing around up there trying to secure that tower. That's all gone to waste.
Look at this. Mind Control up top goes right in onto the puck. Kuroki ready to follow up. He's got the Death Ward. There is nothing Z-Freak can do in that scenario.
No,
and look at that. A Veil of Discord picked up by Matumba Man.
He's in there, dude.
Well,
Hey, it's the Battle Hunger.
There's the Battle Hunger.
The level 2. That's what it's all for. But no, this just means he can go in further into that. They do, of course, want some way to shred through that Timber Saw, and this is one option for them.
Dire Courier does get picked off. Only a ward on it, so not huge cargo, but nice little pick-me-up for complexity. Definitely much needed in this current situation. See Moo TP to the top lane, but Mind Control, he's ready again. We've seen this story, but will it have a different ending? The Maledict on top of the ultimate from Matumba Man. Moo is in a lot of trouble. He's going to tick down slowly but surely, and he will fall. Kuro getting credit for that one.
Yeah, Poison Nova, Maledict, and a Veil. That does do some damage.
Pretty darn good.
Nicely done here from Matsu.
Yeah, poor Chessie, struggling to complete this Drum of Endurance. He will finally have the gold for it, but things getting a little bit out of control here.
Yeah, and that's like, it feels just like when they were trying to find someone to lane against Matu. It's the rotating door in the top tower.
Oh, Limp tries to TP home, but Mind Control's there to interrupt it. Maledict will connect. The axe gets tossed back. The call down homing missile will repel Team Liquid. Tiny will survive through this, I think. Yes, one more tick from the Maledict. Gets him low, but he survives.
He'll be okay. But they're just like sending people into this area, even though like first it's the Puck who just dies. The Timber Saw just dies. Yeah. And then now Gyro's up here just like, is this going to be okay? There's a relocate. He might just die. I think this is the revolving door of death. Stop coming to this tower.
Smoke from Liquid. They are committed to dominating this part of the map.
Oh, Z-Freak has no TP if they start this fight right now. They need the counter initiation from the Puck.
Mind Control, he catches Kyle.
All right,
there's the Maledict, snowball across. But will there be reinforcements? Kyle now out of mana, survives through the onslaught.
Wow,
that'll be it.
Is it it? It's still, yeah, he's dead.
Oh, you know, Veil plus Maledict is actually absurd, Trent.
I mean, it makes sense.
I know my math skills aren't great, but holy Toledo.
Oof. Well, it only cost them 4 deaths, but that tower does go down.
But all the while, that is just space created for Miracle. He now has the Dragon Lance completed back at home and has the Scotty queued up. Terrorblade really accelerating his farm now. A big margin over the Terrorblade. Liquid doing so well with this kind of 4 protect 1 strategy right now.
How long have you seen Moo punch this tower for? Feels like it's been a long time.
Quite a while, and now we're going to see Moo probably hit the deck, caught by the Berserker's Call. It's a 4-on-1 as he tries to Timber Chain away, but oh wait, Trent, there's the Maledict, and I have a feeling he will get dunked.
Yeah, that's
Meanwhile,
hero,
on the other side, GH, well, he gets finished off. Complexity get a little freebie there. But yeah, this Timber Saw now losing some of his momentum.
One thing that they still have is a lot of burst damage for Complexity. If they smoke up with Tiny and Puck, like, Z-Freak is now getting those levels, right? He's got 4 points in the Orb, 2 in the Waning Rift. He'd like a couple more. Obviously, he can't afford to go into any sort of survivability, but the Blink Dagger's here on Limp, so they need to roam around and blow up Miracle. They need to try and just, like, anyone. Matu is, he's got the treads, he's got the point booster. He's going for that Ags because it makes you so tanky at the, against that magic burst, so.
Now, Trent, I don't want to disregard what you just said, but are you concerned at all that GH is basically equally as farmed as Limp right now?
Yeah.
Because this Wisp is pretty darn close to a mechanism, and that is a pretty game-changing item on that hero, especially at 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're doing the smoke up play, though. This is it. You know, maybe we can find something.
Maybe.
Kyle's trying to play Bounty Hunter. He's actually just trying to snipe Couriers with Walrus Punch.
Yeah, same position. It's pretty much where he found it before. Matu is going to go for the Aghanim Scepter, by the way, on the Venomancer, so pretty committed to this magic damage-based build. We've seen how effective the Poison Nova plus Maledict is at dealing with this Timber Saw, who's also picked up a Vanguard, by the way. Oh, no, okay, never mind. He had a Vanguard, broke it, now he's back to the Hood of Defiance, so that will definitely help his survivability. I like it.
That was a bit close. He did not mean to make that.
Yeah, I see the Stout Shield's locked now. I was wondering why he went Vanguard. It didn't seem like the item this game, and of course it is not. No. Axe cancels his TP up top. Looks like Complexity are starting to group up and pressure this tower. The Venomancer is on the way. Might cancel this TP. No, he does commit for it.
Well, at least there's no chase as Matu's stuck in there, so.
Down below, though, Puck and Mind Control kind of going at it. There is a Blade Mail up. There's the Orb. Z-Freak able to jaunt. But the pursuit from Mind Control still catches him. And that little fairy dragon will be turned to a puddle of goo.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get like an over-blink play and hoping that would save him. But yeah, Limp is just not respecting the speed of these two, though. And Z-Freak needs to buy back.
Z-Freak buys back.
They gotta win
Limp
this.
is going to try to combo
They
down
need the
Terror
silence.
Blade.
They got it.
The silence is there. The Walrus Punch. This is 3 heroes down for Liquid all of a sudden. Finally a fight that Complexity can be okay with. Mind Control hit by the homing missile. He'll get brought down to boot. 4-0, and just like that, Complexity show a sign of life.
Jesse died to the Maledict, though, after getting that triple kill in the base.
Yeah.
Oh, Witch Doctor. Man, why do people pick this hero? I can't quite figure it out yet.
I mean, even with the buyback on Puck, though, it's a huge net worth gain for Complexity. They'll try to pressure this Tier 1 tower mid to get some extra gold going their way. We'll take a look at the replay right now. It looked good, the initiation onto Limp. The movement speed from Miracles we were talking about, but this time they did stack the silences properly. I like how they tossed him into the lane where Z-Freak was TPing in.
Yeah.
Actually very well done by Limp in that situation.
Yeah, and Kyle bought the time there too as well with the snowball and then the Walrus Punch if needed. Was going to be able to make sure that there was not going to be a Sunder there. So
very nicely
The
played.
other important thing is that they have the Bloodstone now though for Moo, so we got to try and find more of these kills. We're going to try and stack this thing up here.
Well, he's hungry. He's got an invisibility rune, and he is going to head to the top lane.
Oh,
sees
there's
Matumba
one.
Man, sees Kuroki, also has Z-Freak in the tree line.
Oh, he's so juicy.
Moo pulling
Crack
up the
that
calculator,
coconut.
doing
Get
the
him.
math. And they are going to go for the initiation. Kuro just gets obliterated as the Dream Coil comes. Survives maybe longer than I thought, but now the call down to follow up. Venno also going to go down. Mind Control with the Blade
These are
Mail on,
charges.
surrounded by 5. It's a 3-0 again, and maybe even
4?
more. GH now initiated on by Kyle. Walrus Punch is there, and GH will get popped. 4-0, back-to-back.
The old Invis rune. Sneaky gank setting up, making things easy. Great wraparound there from Z-Freak, and maybe Liquid are making a bit too much space for Miracle, you know?
Another
really trying to fight
replay
without
here.
him.
Kuro did survive a little bit longer than I thought. He might just be insta-gibbed. But there was no real follow-up. Mind Control comes in, tries to grab them, but Complexity with a really good spread doesn't allow him to get more than one with that Berserker's Call.
Yeah. If they don't die in the call, they're quite fast, right? I mean, this is a gyrocopter. He's a speedy guy. He's almost level 15 as well, which is that big turning talent that he's going to get here.
His
And
BKB's up.
He's got the build. The drums BKB. We're in there.
Now Rapier, next up on the list, right?
I believe so. That's the Vega special, who you'll be seeing next.
Yes,
Here.
another
Don't go
elimination game
anywhere.
coming up next. So we've got a real game on our hands, though. Trent, 5 minutes ago, it looked like this might be just an easy game for Liquid, taking huge control early on, and now it's a small 2K lead for Liquid. Complexity getting some big core items off that. 3 Blink Daggers now picked up. Moo, Z-Freak, and Limp.
Yeah, if there's one thing Complexity have loved over the years, it's fighting early and aggressive, earlier kind of style lineup. So this Axe and Io just kind of like trying to play and keep the momentum going. It almost kind of plays in their hands in some ways. They have great counter initiation because the Blink Dagger came out so early on the Tiny, because Z-Freak's playing a Puck who you obviously don't see too often in the support role, but he has gotten those levels. I mean, 12 is respectable at this point, honestly. And now he's got the full damage, but it's when he gets in that survivability that he becomes that elusive hero that you think of when you spot the Puck. That's the one real flaw with the support Puck, is that phase shift comes so late, so you can die quite a bit, but he's lurking a lot better now.
Limp with the Shadow Blade does reveal the initiation onto Kuro.
Oh, Kyle.
Follow up from Kyle. They'll bring him down before the Shrine can get popped. Now the silence on the Terror Blade. He might still be able to sunder here,
The
though.
medic is here.
It's a chaotic team fight as the BKB gets popped by Chessie. A huge Dream Coil from Z-Freak, and Moo is starting to clean house. The Sunder does come out. Now the ultimate from Venno as Limp jumps in. It does not look like a fight Liquid can take, and they will trade 1 for 5 as Miracle gets isolated. Complexity are actually turning this around, but will there be any follow-up
The wards
kills?
are cleaning them up. Chessie, goodbye.
Yeah,
Z-Freak. Adios, amigo. Oh, he might live with the orb. Nope.
Nope.
He...
Limp with the death toss to add a little bit of
Does this make you immune?
drama to the kill, but so you know, a couple of death kills for the Venno. That's cute. You know, it does slow things down a bit, but another huge fight for Complexity. It's a full 5-man wipe. All of Liquid get brought down, and this will be a tier 2 tower secured. Kuroki gets in a little too close, and it'll be another death on the Witch Doctor.
That is something you do not see from Kuro very often. No, the really random deaths like that.
Well, replay here.
Up when he died.
Oh, this is the
Oh,
toss.
the toss. Excellent. I think he was trying to like dodge the poison on the last tick or something, but I don't know why Limp threw him.
Yeah, I had a moment there. I was like, is there some sort of deny play where Tiny can toss and deny? No, there is not. He's just a flashy little little play for us there. But I digress. Pipe now picked up by Timbersol, and for the first time this match, Complexity have found a net worth lead. It's a small one, but they are holding on, Trent.
All right, but can they keep that going? What happened to our Axe here? Where'd he go? He was the talk of the town. There were posters up with this guy. He was. I think there was movie rights being sold. Mind Control was owning.
Dude,
Slacks couldn't believe himself.
J.K. Rowling was working on his autobiography.
Yeah.
We were talking about how amazing the blade mail would be this game, and it seemed like as soon as he picked that back core item, that was the beginning of the end, and he has really not been able to do much with it. And since then, his farm has pretty much been stopped dead in its tracks.
Yeah. There's no question they've been fighting 4 into 5, and it's not only that, but you're fighting into a Timbersaw, who honestly can feel like 3 heroes when he's up against the right lineup, and he was a 5th pick. You know, he came out, he saw what his opponents were going to be, and he was ready for it. So they're very low in numbers when they don't have Miracle.
24 Bloodstone charges on Moo right now. At 25 minutes, that is actually incredible. So he is a beast, and we saw in that last team fight, he did a really good job isolating GH. The Wisp was the first hero to go down, and if they can kill the Wisp to start off a fight, that is usually a sign Complexity will be able to take it. Now Venomancer caught again. Complexity so deep in enemy territory, very aggressive wards down. They are putting on the pressure. Yeah,
they're trying to do the same thing here from Liquid, where Kuro's warding up near the shrine. They're playing inside of here, but their courier just leaves, and Z-Freak's going to get it. Oh, he can't actually. They were so quick. He tried to make it so both last hit at the same time, but
nice invulnerability.
Yep, too fast on that one. And they say, hey, they're in our jungle, guys. Maybe we should hit some buildings. Try and force some TPs back, and
to the high ground we go.
We know this is going to be a little bit slow, though, whereas that's Miracle on the bottom here. Uh-oh.
There's also no glyph for the Dire, however. Mind Control on the front lines getting initiated on, taking huge damage. BKB popped by Chessie. Now the call down into the tier 4s. Will connect on 3 heroes. It won't be enough to save the Axe, and now GH gets brought down by the Chakra.
Glyph.
Down bottom.
Oh,
Miracle finishes it off. And you're right, the glyph is still available, but they're going to try to focus barracks here. Now buyback from the Wisp. Matumba Man will respawn just as this fight's breaking out, but I don't know if they'll actually get the barracks here. Liquid could somehow come out ahead on this. The Poison Nova falls short, does not connect on Limp. It's a biff from Matumba Man. And when it's all said and done, melee barracks fall in the bottom lane, and even though Liquid lose several heroes mid, they do not lose barracks.
They're going to be kicking themselves when they realize they had Glyph. But, I mean, it was a super chaotic fight. They're killing everyone inside the base. This feels like it might just be like that kind of GG moment, like, oh my god, are we doing it? Like, are we going to kill enough heroes? Can we get a Rax out of this? Are we going to choke them out because of this play? And no one hits the J key, or whatever you have it down to. So, the Rax survive for Liquid, and Cole aren't quite as lucky.
Still great for Complexity, though. Of course, Wisp did buy back there, so it hurts his economy and gives them that much more of a net worth advantage. However, Mech is completed on the Wisp, so talk about economic damage. This Wisp is already more farmed than you would expect.
Yeah, remember when the Wisp was close to Chessie and Limp, essentially?
I do.
Now
I'm eating those words right now, Trent. I remember it all too vividly. Moo trying to finish off this tier 1 tower. They do use the glyph, and probably going to be able to secure a deny. Mind Control does connect with the Berserker's Call, trying to bring Moo back into friendly territory. He does get stunned up by the cast, but now the TP home, realizing they have no additional stuns, and easier survival.
And we're in Roche. Moo the Space Maker. Dr. Moo at it again, solving the problems for Complexity.
Looks like it will be potentially an uncontested Roche. Now, they don't have Poison Nova, but at the same time, Complexity aren't really killing it that quickly. They don't have a Medallion, no minus armor. It won't matter.
Yeah, it's not going to be a contest here. So, Complexity.
Chessie.
I mean, we've been talking so much today, especially about Terrorblade, and like how even when you're down, he can make those plays. Like that was literally 5 heroes versus 1 in terms of pushing. And yes, perhaps Complexity were a bit distracted in terms of kills, but Miracle just destroyed that tier 3 in the rack so fast that you you don't have to wonder why this hero's so good. But that Sentry and Observer that Kuro placed earlier.
This is going to be a tough one. No reinforcements. They could TP to the Shrine. Liquid's starting to back up as he snowballs in, but Miracle's just going to have the right clicks to finish him off as now the smoke rotation comes from the rest of Liquid. So you can see it on the mini-map there. Limp circles it, says, guys, this is the danger zone. Stay away. Everyone's missing off the map. They're coming for you. There you go. The double circle, just in case.
Yeah, in case you missed it. It's a little bit bigger. Don't play here.
Looks like some high ground attempt. Backdoor protection is still on, but Miracle just running up to try and finish off these ranged barracks. Where are these creeps? This is actually kind of awkward.
Slowly getting there.
Yeah, with Tusk down, 4v5, I guess it feels relatively safe.
Z-Freak, though, he has pushed in the mid.
Yeah, he's going to force back the Terrorblade.
Nicely done. And that's permanent damage there onto the range racks as well. So Z-Freak now getting the top wave, too.
Well done by Z-Freak. Very aggressive positioning, but absolutely the right play in that scenario. He will be moving towards a Veil, and there it is, just now picked up.
How crazy is that, though? Because this hero is so obnoxious as a core when he does this, right? But one thing that happens is he gets removed from any initiations because he's just like dancing in the trees, cutting off waves. But he's a support this game. That you have these other cores that are very farmed that can kind of take these fights that it's going to be a little bit ridiculous trying to deal with Z-Freak. Yeah. It's almost like a Coddle or something, but much more survivable.
That's an interesting analogy. Assault Karas also on the way for Limp's Tiny. Always a big item pickup there. He's also level 20, so now that tree grab gets a slightly shorter cooldown.
And they're cutting off the circled area. Moo just going to cut the wave. They're moving in with the Tiny and the Gyro to take care of the Shrine.
Yep, going to be some free gold coming their way. Of course, Aegis still on the Gyro. Plenty of time left, about half duration.
Found Miracle here. I think he's trying to set something up.
I like the way Complexity are playing this right now. Realizing they have the advantage, trying to stay aggressive. They're going to bump right into Miracle, and Limp finds him. The stun, the silence, the Dream Coil. There is no way that Terrorblade lives. Godlike streak for Limp. Matumba Man pops the ult, but he gets locked on the low ground by the shards. GH getting very low, pops the mech, will not be able to finish the relocate. BKB is doing so much for Complexity. It's 3 down, Matumba trying to survive, but another disastrous fight for Team Liquid. The Aegis not even brought down. Nope, and not going to go down either. Chessie survives through it all. It's another 4-0 team fight in favor of Complexity.
Unbelievable. It's just, they're reading it so well. All of these fights, they're taking them in places where Liquid are completely not expecting it. And then they're just so mobile. Like, Miracle, he almost got off that Sunder. I think you could hear the sound coming out. It was about to pop. And then after that, it's just cleanup time, you know? Aisle 3, get over here. These guys are useless without Miracle at the current moment.
It's insane how the mighty have fallen. Axe went from the bully that was taking over to the game to this underfarmed offlaner where now Z-Freak is nipping at his heels. It is absolutely insane how well Complexity have turned this around, and now the high ground siege is commencing on all fronts. The glyph comes out from Liquid. They will lose the mid lane of Barracks and maybe even more. Bottom tier 3 taking a lot of damage. Buyback status is not good. Liquid do not have a single buyback right now, so if they lose another fight, this could actually be the end of the game. They need to be so careful.
I mean, this is a level 25 move.
Oh my god.
Like, he is 5 levels ahead of the Terrorblade right now.
That's absurd. With 31 Bloodstone charges and an Aghanim Scepter.
The power of 25% XP gain, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, this 5th pick Timber saw, we were both like, yeah, wow, Timber's a pretty good pick here. I think that was an understatement. Timber was the pick here. I mean, Moo has picked up this game, put it on his back, and opened up everything else for his teammates.
Yeah, he cut off that aggressive dual lane of the Io and the Axe. Yes, it punished the Gyro for quite a long time, but they gave Moo a nice starting point in the mid lane because we all know if Timber doesn't snowball, the hero is useless. There's a reason why we don't see it very often. He needs good opponents, and he also needs a good lane to start with. He wants to be this kind of like crazy animal.
Turns out Timber versus Veno is a pretty lopsided mid matchup.
This Moo strat is, I want full stacks when a fight starts mid. He's just sitting in the Ancients, constantly tanking them up to be ready for it.
I like that.
Oh my god, that chain is absurd. What a talent.
The level 25.
How do you catch this guy?
1,400.
Arcane rune.
Oh my. Literally doubles it.
By the time that the chain ends, he can cast another one.
It's pretty absurd. Like BKB. No, he's actually going to go Lotus Orb. Next item on the Timber Saw. I thought maybe he'd want the BKB, but...
I mean, if he can just reverse Asunder, that's not good.
Very true. Very true. This is one of the first Terrorblade games we've seen where it feels like he doesn't quite have the tools that he needs. He does have the 10-second BKB now, and that's always a potential game changer. We did talk about his ability to split push down bottom, but in these team fights, they are controlling Miracle very effectively.
He's so far away from his team right now. Now they ball back up, but just in that moment, he was like massive divides because they're just thinking they can catch up to him with the relocate with those who are necessary. But Matu not smoked up. Limp.
It's kind of unfortunate. Maybe they can bait with the Venomancer here, but only 4 of Liquid smoked. Who are they going to go for? Complexity have a lot of reinforcements
Tiny with
nearby.
that status resistance too. Like,
yeah,
you really don't want to jump him like anyone else.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Can someone else please show? And Cole, they seem to be 100% aware.
Mood
where
doing
they
the
are.
same thing, just tanking the Ancients with his back turned.
Smart move. Experienced Timber player here. Knows his work.
Yeah, Liquid don't find the opening, and they just back up to friendly territory. Absolutely the right call.
Cole knew, though. Obviously, the Aegis had just expired. You saw Moo ping it, and that's why they were playing so safe, because all good teams are going to try and catch you out as that Aegis is expiring. Hopefully, you're not balled back up yet. You know, if you weren't taking an objective, maybe you split up to farm. We're going to try and get something done.
Butterfly on the way for the gyrocopter. He's also just now hit level 20, so that's some additional movement speed for him. He went from, yeah, I got drums to, I'm cruising. S&Y, drums, and that talent. He's basically got a haste rune on now.
Man, how does Mind Control get back in this game? The Axe, I was trying to think, like, why'd they pick Axe over Bristle? Because IO Bristle obviously has been a combo forever. We even saw it earlier today. And the Axe looked really good just in terms of that, like, extra control element for someone like that Timbersaw. If they start snowballing early, he's the guy who's going to, like, cut off that Timbersaw's legs.
Yeah.
And just make sure he never gets back in the game. But that didn't happen. Like, Moose started off so well. And then the puck got punished, sure, but now at this point, it is just a puck. You know, the gyrocopter, he's ended up getting quite tanky, and Mind Control just hasn't had a game for, like, honestly, 20 minutes. He has pretty much done nothing.
He hasn't really farmed anything either. He's still got the same basic items we talked about 10 minutes ago. Working on the BKB now. He's got the Ogre Axe, but
He just, it's all just a 4 protect 1, essentially. We're basically playing 4 supports and Miracle, which works out. Occasionally. I mean, OG made a living off of it.
Has won Liquid a couple of games.
Yep.
That's definitely true. Butterfly coming out for him. But actually behind the timing on the gyro now. Slow and steady. Liquid not really able to find an opening. I feel like Complexity have just had, once they got out of the laning phase, it feels like their positioning has been almost impeccable.
I mean, their team fights especially.
Yeah.
That's what the real key is.
Well, I mean that to say, like, Axe has not been able to get multi-hero calls for a reason, and it's because Complexity has not given him that opening. You know, at best he can catch one, and then they are all ready to save whoever it is that gets caught out. The double chakram pushes back Matumba Man and actually forces a relocate.
Yeah, this is a bit of a risky tease here. You really want that Roche, and the Courier might actually spot it out here. They're a bit fortunate there. Yeah, they're going to leave it in there. Excellent work. And so they should get this Aegis. Yep. It's extremely early. All right, Liquid ready with a smoke. They are not.
Is up in 5 seconds.
There it is. They're ready, and they see it with the Courier, and they're going to go on in. So we have relocate, but we don't have smoke.
We don't have relocate. He just wasted it in the base. It's on cooldown for 70.
So yeah, this Aegis is gone. And that means Aegis and Cheese this time. Timbersaw with a Cheese. Just almost as good as Storm Spirit. Not quite, though.
Still pretty damn good. Roche not falling too quickly. Liquid starting to move that direction, but
Kyle blocking it off.
Don't think they'll get there in time. Yeah, it's a smart play from the Tusk.
He's got a gem, too. Oh, spotted.
I mean, even if Kyle can just intercept this and stop them from getting into the Roche pit, that'll be big.
He creates a chase, actually, with a snowball.
He buys enough time, and now Moo jumps forward. They are going to go in on the Matumba Man, but the Axe intercepts the back line. Chessie goes down quick. That'll be the end of the Aegis. Miracle doing a lot of damage as they bring down Kyle. Limp with the BKB on, just getting destroyed by this Terrorblade. And now Kuroki's Death Ward laying into the gyrocopter. A buyback from the Wisp as he did fall. Liquid want to punish this one hard. They've now lost the Axe and the Veno. Complexity starting to clean things up as Moo just feels unkillable. Sunder's still available on the Terrorblade. He does use it, but Moo is surviving through it all. No, he falls. The Maledict is too much. He can't handle it, and Limp
He's already back in the game, though, and he's got that long Timber Chain if he wants to jump back in. But that was the difference in this fight. Miracle lived. He was not the one initiated upon. He got off his BKB, and that was that 4 protect 1, 4 supports enabling Miracle. But they're coming back in. They're sneaking here.
That was the 10-second BKB, so Miracle was immune for a pretty long time and not going to find an opening to go in.
So tempting, though, if you were able to bring him down right there. But he is 3K HP at this point when he is backed up by that IO. And as he said with the BKB, he looks damn strong. He did 7,700 damage in that fight. Wow.
You know, and you and I have talked a lot about Terrorblade. His big problem is staying on targets. There's no doubt he does a huge amount of damage if you can get in the right clicks, but very susceptible to being kited. In that situation, Miracle was just, he was like a turret. He just stood there lobbing snowballs into the entire fight.
And that was Mind Control, right? He got that grab, and then Miracle this time was able to pump the damage in. Finally, Mind Control had a purpose. He felt good about that situation. He's like, yes, I know my role. Just they keep blowing up my Terrorblade.
I think the cheese also used in that fight, so all of the spoils from Roche. will be mitigated. Still a pretty massive lead for Complexity, 14K net worth, and remember, they are 2 lanes of barracks up. So Liquid are always going to have that in the back of their minds, that they need to have somebody defending and controlling these lanes.
They have the Aghanim Scepter for the puck, but the problem is they don't have any way to snap the coil. There's no Hurricane Pike on the Gyrocopter. They could toss, I guess, but I'm assuming he's going to be BKB'd. Obviously, that's the whole point. So there's really nothing. I mean, that's the whole point of the Venge swap and the coil, why it's so good. Coddle as well with the old Blinding Light, but there's not many combos that can help you provide that BKB piercing snap. So ideally, they need to coil Miracle, and then they need to move the fight away from him. And then that way, at least he'll be locked down, he'll be out of that engagement, and then they can clean up everybody like the rest of these engagements the entire game. They're under an Observer Ward right now if Liquid want to set up.
Uh-oh. Miracle walks forward.
They
Kyle
know
hits
this
him with
is...
the Walrus Punch. There are a lot of reinforcements. Now the Dream Coil,
They get the
toss.
snap! They did it!
They snap it, and there is no way Miracle can turn this around. Mind Control cleaved down by the Tiny. He'll buy back right away, but Kuro falls shortly after. No buyback available on Kuro. There will be a buyback on the Terrorblade, however, and he does have Metamorphosis, so still a chance that Liquid can hold this.
I can't believe they executed it. He didn't get the BKB off in time.
No, the double Chakram doing a lot of damage to GH. He'll pop the mech and survive. Now TB will buy back.
Bail, bail, bail.
Complexity, will they stick around or will they take heed to the advice of Trent Pax? And it seems they shall. The smoke to disengage, and they make it back.
I actually can't believe it. They got the snap. They did it. Miracle, too greedy there with the BKB use. Not opting for it when that fight was starting. I mean, they had the vision. They saw them, right? Like, they were good to go.
Replay.
Miracle just walking in there, gets Walrus Punch. He's like, no, I really don't want to BKB.
There's the reflection.
I'm Dream Coiled. Nope, see ya.
It was a
Look
pretty
at that stun bar, dude. That thing wasn't even close to being done.
It was a pretty small window to use the BKB, but you're right.
He's Miracle. Come on.
No, I know.
Don't give me small window.
Hey.
It's Miracle.
I meant that more, that Complexity did a very good job staggering stuns on top of that. It was Dream Coil, half a second toss. You know, it was a very small window. Not that Miracle couldn't have hit the BKB. That was a compliment of Complexity's execution, Mr. Pax.
I prefer Monsieur. Thank you.
Bonsoir. Matumba Man, mid lane, could possibly get jumped on. Complexity still with this very aggressive positioning. And maybe, double damage up on the Gyrocopter in the top lane.
There's an Invis on Mind Control. I mean, that was the rune that brought the whole comeback for Complexity.
You're right.
Maybe it can do it for Liquid as well.
Oh, there it is again. The Dream Coil, the toss back. No buyback available on the Terrorblade, but instead they're just going to focus on the GH. Matumba Man will get off the Poison Nova. No kills yet.
Oh, that Glimmer was so fast.
BKB popped by Chessie. He's very low in this top lane, but now the call down. BKB used by Miracle. Can he find a target to do the damage to? Blink out from the puck. Z-Freak will survive, and Moo actually able to bring down Kuro.
I don't even know how Kuro got over there.
So that was pretty wild. Complexity did this 4+1. Look how much damage the Gyrocopter did. He finished off the tier 3 towers and got both the barracks to about half HP. Pretty scary.
All under just a single kill. Now a 21K lead here for Complexity. Are they about to do? Are they about to go 2-1?
Huh?
Come on, they're about to go 2-1.
They are.
Complexity.
Dude, this is
this
hype.
going to happen? I think we're going to be 1-2.
Definitely an upset if they can close this one out. Still a sign of life for Liquid. It's not over yet. 20K net worth at 42 minutes. Not insurmountable, but it's tough. Feels like it is definitely in the hands of Complexity to throw at this stage.
There's a chance we end up with Liquid and VG at 1-2
for elimination,
playing each other. Up the next major. Oh, Dota's in a great spot right now.
Gotta
I mean,
love
to be
that
fair,
Swiss
it is
format,
best
baby.
of ones, but yeah. Well, the competitiveness is certainly there.
So Rapier queued up for the Terrorblade. Miracle saying, guys, we're in dire straits, and there is one item that can maybe turn this one around. He's got 4,100 gold, so still needs a couple of minutes before he can farm up the big item. If Complexity get Megas, Liquid will be able to defend it. They've got pretty good heroes for dealing with Megas, but never a position that you want to be in by any stretch.
It's okay. If it goes long enough, Kyle will just get the Aghanims, and then we'll have the BKB piercing coil snap, right? Just get the ultimate combo.
That is the ultimate combo,
I mean, then we'll have the brothers synergy. You know, right now, this is impressive enough because it's Z-Freak with a non-blood relative. So at that point, we'll just be on that next level, the Complexity special.
Yeah, showing us the power of the Aghanim's puck, though. Pretty incredible. 4.5 second stun. Tiny with 3,800 gold himself. Is that Silver Edge finished up now?
Miracle having a hard time even just getting illusions to annoy these lanes, or trying to stop every little bit of push that comes out.
Yeah, so difficult for Liquid. They have to manage these other lanes coming in, but also stop this sure damage on their ranged barracks. They have a glyph, but you don't want to use it for an auto-attacking Timbersaw. I think Moo playing this absolutely right, just trying to bait Liquid into an uncomfortable position. BKB popped by Chessie as Mind Control jumps in. Kuro the first one to fall. Matsu does get off the ultimate, but it's probably going to cost him his life. Call downs coming. Now the glyph flies, but GH, Matumba Man dead. It's just a Miracle.
Oh, Mind Control's
Does he
there.
have enough to hold on? The buyback's coming now. Complexity going all in. Triple kill for Miracle. He gets off the Sunder. He's actually going to survive for now, and he's going to win this battle against Moo. He's going to Timber Chain away, but those last few auto attacks, it's a rampage for Miracle. And Complexity do get repelled. Maybe Liquid still have a chance. 3 heroes down without buyback. Chessie on the run, but they've got the slows. The Scotty chasing him down, and still plenty of time on this Metamorphosis.
Moo's coming back as well. They got to be careful with this chase. They can't go too deep here. There's still the creep issue. They haven't won this game by any stretch by getting a rampage because there are megas now. The game is quite hard for old Liquid, and they're going to lose Matu. Can't afford that. He's gone.
Big pickup there.
The Team Liquid Rampage, the enabling of this Terrorblade, it did work, but Complexity, they knew it. They're throwing bodies.
Yep, all the buybacks have been used. Timbersaw, the only one that has it available. All 3 heroes of Liquid that are dead are going to be in the grave until those natural respawn timers come up. Terrorblade did buy a Refresher Orb instead of the Rapier. That means he's got another Metamorphosis. They're going to wait for the Wisp, and Liquid will make their final stand, but Tier 4s are going down. The Coil connects on Miracle. The toss, not going to be there. He pops the BKB.
He snapped the coil.
Oh, no, he did. That's such a misplay. Now GH is going to fall. No buyback there. Kuro goes down to boot, and it is literally just Miracle. The raid boss standing between Complexity and a victory. They bring him down, and the game is over. Complexity have done it in stunning fashion. Team fight after team fight. Now going 2-1 and putting Liquid in a potential spot for elimination in the group stage.
Oh, look at those hugs. Oh, it's Kyle. Kyle Dota.
I mean, that has to feel good. Upset is the proper word here. So many people at home expecting Liquid to have an easy win. Even from that early game, they did so well. The Axe dominated for the first 15 minutes. Then all of a sudden, Moo erupted with one of the best Timbersaw performances we've seen in a while.
Damn. The Axe IO did not work out. It all came down to being this sort of, like, as we said, enabling Miracle. That's what the whole game became. You have a core Veno, you have a core Axe, and then you have a Terrorblade. I mean, we all know what Terrorblade does. You know, you get some buddies, you hold them down, I'll throw in the damage, everything will be great. But Complexity completely outmaneuvering Liquid. In terms of vision, they just always had these great high ground fights. They had the jump. They positioned themselves in a way that they were on top of Miracle. Those first, like, 5 fights, Miracle did nothing. And then finally we did something, you're like, oh, God, I understand the strategy. Miracle just slaughtered them all. But Complexity obviously fully aware of that throughout the entire game, and just ensured that that wasn't going to be there.
What an insane game. Let's take a look at some highlights here. The early game, so much different than the late game that you might remember. Look at that kill score, 7-14.
9K lead.
9K lead.
The Z-Freak buyback.
This is actually the moment of the turn. The toss into the creep wave, the stun into the silence, the walrus punch. This was the beginning of the end for Liquid.
Yeah, it's so good on those silences again. Just Z-Freak throughout that mid-game before there was like the Manta, before there was the BKB, he was there to make sure that they had that one flub where he got off the Sunder, and that was it. And then the Invis rune to set up. And yeah, that was the second fight. And from there, it was just 100% all Complexity.
Very tough game for Kuroki. It seemed like that Witch Doctor had an amazing impact early on, and then in those mid-game team fights, Timbersaw, Puck, Tusk, there's so many ways to stop that Witch Doctor from getting the position that he wants. I think we saw maybe 2 Death Wards the whole game.
Yeah, after that fight, they got 12 kills on Liquid, and they had, like, I don't even know how many, like 30 or something on Complexity. It was like 28 more kills after that. Like, that was the point where the game was just kind of done.
Yeah, and this was sort of the split push. It was a 4v5. Miracle did secure barracks. Complexity maybe overextending a little bit in this particular engagement. They get the tier 3, but they don't actually end up getting the barracks here. Unfortunately, though, for Liquid, it doesn't really bode in their favor, and it just puts their Axe further and further behind.
That was definitely a worrisome fight, honestly. If there was ever a time for Liquid to get back into it, that was it. But then this was it. When they were way in behind, like, it made no sense for them to be there. And that's why Miracle's just walking through. You see him all game doing this, and then once he's gone, godlike Limp and crew. And, I mean, Dr. Moo, my God.
Dr. Moo, baby.
He was the best this game. MVP for sure. Completely uncontrollable Timbersaw pick.
Yeah. the way Complexity took control of the map once they started getting momentum really was one of the most impressive parts of this match, like you were saying. You know, they weren't really that far ahead, and that positioning they were in where they picked off Miracle in that last clip, unbelievably aggressive. This is right after the Aghanim Scepter was picked up on the puck, gets tossed before the BKB comes out, and Miracle caught off guard by that long tether snap.
The double change just right through, shredding mind control, forcing the buyback, and they get nothing out of it.
Yep. Absolutely nothing.
Man, that 25% XP game was just crazy for Moo. He was 25 so early, and then that Timber Chain talent is ridiculous, especially when they were already lacking control. Now he's everywhere.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about XP talents being a little bit hit or miss in the current meta, and you see players skipping XP talents more often than not, but this was a situation where getting that hero to level 25 ASAP was kind of a game winner.
Yeah. There's so many things you have to do right for a Timbersaw. As you said, he has a snowball first. He needs that, like that talent is good on the hero because he wants a snowball. But after that, you need to enable the Bloodstone. You have to take good fights with Bloodstone. You have to fight around this guy, make sure he gets a bunch of charges, and he went from 14 to 17 to 19 to 25 almost instantaneously.
Certainly what it felt like.
And this was that fight where you understood. You kind of started to see it and, you know, well, what the damage could be there, but it didn't matter. They were hitting buildings. Yeah. They were getting some megas done. Yeah,
I mean, the opportunity cost is huge. You see the Rampage and you go, Liquid are doing it. They have a chance. Then you realize, well, they had to give up megas for that to happen. So Complexity, yeah, they kind of went all in and handed him that Rampage, but well worth it as they were now able to press forward, focus the tier 4s, and that final fight really did feel like Terrorblade versus the world in a lot of ways, and not quite farmed enough to be able to do it. A smart idea for Miracle to go for that Refresher Orb at the end, able to reset the meta. Heart's in the right place.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the game was over
not
at that
enough.
point.
Yeah.
So,
final scoreboard here. What do we got? Some impressive scores. I have to say, though, Trent, Moo was the standout player for me by far.
Look at this guy.
Picked up the team, put him on his back. 34,000 damage. Chessie also able to do about 34K on the Gyrocopter. Not a big surprise, but hard hero to execute with in a lot of situations. And Complexity saw it in the draft. They saw that Moo could handle it, and there was really nothing Matumba Man could do in the lane.
Yeah, in terms of the other players, though, certainly a lot of credence to Kyle. He scouted out a lot of those fights, too, right?
Very
Where he's like, he provided a lot of that vision where you're talking about how he was basically playing bounty hunter because he was hunting for couriers. But while he was doing that, he was placing those wards. And those are the kind of vision objectives that they were able to see. They were like, oh, Miracle's alone. Let's go get him. And like, oh, they're up on this high ground. We can go there. And he's able to just dive in there with those snowballs, creating catching opportunities. And as well as Z-Freak, that versatility comes out once again when he plays that support puck.
Yeah, I do also think GH played a pretty incredible Wisp that game. A hard game once we got past the laning stage. Timbersaw so good at getting into that back line and making Wisp's life very difficult. And I think GH handled it about as best as anyone could in that scenario.
Yeah, it almost felt like that Vega game where we were like, it's an IO draft, but they didn't do a lot of IO plays.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. You know, they couldn't find those big relocates. I was envisioning like mind control setting up on someone, and then the TB comes through, but they weren't quite there. So.
All right. So MVP, is there any doubt that it's Moo? No. Look, it is absolutely our friend David Hull. Wow. Just wow.
I'm just gazing at his beauty.
Yeah.
You know, I miss the locks. I'm not gonna lie. You know, that long.
Hey, I know
hair,
the feels of going from long hair to short hair, and I have to say, it is nice to reinvent yourself with a new look.
He's loving life. Well,
absolutely.
Dr. Moo, PhD.
PhD in Timbersaw, that's for sure. So that's another game at the close and a huge win for Complexity. So that now makes them 2-1. They are 1 win away from guaranteeing playoffs. And now Liquid, the opposite. They are 1 loss away from elimination.
Oh, my God. You think you were sweating at that draft yesterday? Poor Kyle. Today it's going to be like, oh, my God, please. Slacks, I will give you anything. Do not pick Liquid for my team. I don't want to get knocked out by Liquid this early.
Definitely be interesting to see where the draws come tonight. That's for damn sure. But, Trent, there is so much more Dota still coming up. We've got,
speaking of elimination,
an elimination game coming up next. And a video to take us into the break. So stick around, folks. We have so much more Dota content coming your way. This is just the beginning.
Welcome back for another edition of Bramble Mania.